Okay, guys. So I totally boned it. I was on with Nair for an hour and a couple other people, and I totally boned the fact that I didn't record the video. So here we are in our handy dandy, happy new CRM, which is actually pretty good, actually. And I'm going to go to the form section. This is not, so you'll all get these form links. And so you'll see we have a couple forms. So Asset Mastermind, you don't care about right now. That's education, don't care. You have Sell Us Your House Fast Easy form, Wholesale Seller Basic form. So this is public website. This is where you guys will work from. Now I'm going to show you the public website real quick first, only because these opt-in boxes that the public gets, you don't get. They don't have to fill in the opt-in boxes. Those federal law is very stupid. They don't have to give us their phone number. We can't require it. They can't require they opt in. So when you're calling a lead from the website, be very cautious if they haven't checked off their opt-in boxes, and I'll show you that in a second. Just soft shoe it with them, because they might have filled out our form, but they didn't consent to receive communication from us. So you got to call and say, hi, saw you filled out our form to get a valuation on your home. Blah, blah, blah. Is this a good time to talk? Do you still want to do that? Identifying yourself as hunting for homes. And if they're, well, no, I don't wish to receive communication. Okay, great. So then you filled out our form. You don't want to receive communication, so we'll take you off our list. Have a nice day. And you'll do that with anyone that rejects us, but especially if they didn't check those consent boxes. If they did, you say, well, that's, you filled out our form and you filled out our consent boxes, so I'm not sure what's going on. But anyway, so that is, and then you're going to open. Okay, so if they filled out our form, you're going to be right inside the CRM, and I'll show you in a second. If you're cold calling someone, or you're any kind of first communication, they have not filled out our form. You're filling out your wholesale seller basic form, which I'll send you this link. And this is all the questions that we ask. However, it's not organized in a conversational manner. It's organized in a form manner. So you're not doing this live with them. You're not, oh, the first question on my list is this. You're having a conversation and you're writing down your notes. So you're using your script draft. We've sent you the scripts, we sent you the questions. You're using that stuff. And if you need it, let us know. I will eventually re-edit this video and add the links to all these things in there as clickable links, but those are there. So I'm actually going to open up, make sure that we actually, did I fucking bone this thing too? No, I didn't. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll talk later, Tanya. All right, so I'm going to open up the documents here. And if you haven't seen the script questions yet, or these questions to ask seller, script site visit questions, or the script document, which will eventually come up, let me know. So once the web form or your form have been filled out, when the web form is filled out, we're all supposed to get a message saying, hey, new web form, somebody grab it. And you're going to log into the CRM, which I will have you log in by the end of this week. And you will go to either contacts or opportunities, or you'll follow the link that you got in your email. And so you filled out a form has been filled out, either your form or somebody else's, the general web form, and it's in here. Suddenly it's here. And this is where you go to add more information. So we will assign it to you, or one of our directors will assign it to you. We will assign it to you, and it'll get assigned to you. And then once it's assigned to you, the way the assignments work is I'm at the top, I can see everything. Self-storage, mobile home park, education, I see everything. Wholesale, is Ryan and I see everything under wholesale. And then you, as an agent, you see your stuff. So once it's assigned to you or to multiple people in certain cases, none of the other agents can see it. It's now it's your show. We can see it. Ryan and I can see it. But it's now your show. And so you fill in every other additional question you get. You do this as completely as freaking possible. May not be all at once. You might go back and I learned something new and I put it in here. Every time you interact with a client, we have activity here. We have tasks, which we can assign you tasks, you can assign us tasks. These are tasks that have to happen. For example, task, need to research links and comps. Now you assign that task to yourself so it doesn't get forgotten about, or we assign it to you. Somebody creates the task, assigns it, so someone knows that we entered in property information. We didn't enter in comps for links and Zillow and blah, 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 blah. Task, call seller back, seller unavailable, whatever. Notes, every time we interact. And by interact, I mean every time an email is sent, received, sent, whatever, every time a text message, anything outside the system, in the system, any kind of communication, put a note here. Hey, got an email on this, and literally this is what whoever catches it. Hey, got an email about the property, needs response, paste it here, paste the email over, assign a task to the person that has to deal with it. And if it changes information over here, the actual information, change it here too. The point is, under notes and activity is everything that's going on. We no longer have to say, oh crap, I texted it to Ryan, but I forgot to text it also to Steve. Therefore, Steve has nowhere to find out about it. Calendar, appointments, obvious. You want to schedule stuff. Documents, pictures, videos, whatever. You're uploading them here. The point is, within this CRM is everything. Now, when you come into the CRM, and I forgot to cover this, you might end up coming in at this level, the agency level. You got nothing here. I don't think it should even send you here. If it does, you go to REI homepage, and you're here. And then you're looking at contacts, or you're looking at opportunities, for example. You're looking at conversations. Conversations are chats within the system where they're texting. We do have a phone number here. It is not a cold calling outbound phone number. It is it's a business line, basically. So don't do your volume calls from it. But if you have the app on your phone, you can dial in and out. You will be able to text in and out. So when your opportunity is created, it first shows up as a new seller lead. And then who does this? This is still be under development, so we're still playing with it. So for now, let Ryan and I move it around. But contacted and call. Great. I moved it from new seller lead to I claimed it. Initial call. Follow up needed. Property details. Yada yada yada. So this is following the seller pipeline. You're dealing with buyers. You're in the buyer pipeline. You're not dealing with this one. This one's education, but this is following the pipeline. So this lets us look at a top level and say, hey, what needs to be followed up on? Oh, crap. And this is when Ryan and I are looking at, Shad needs to follow up with 3 things, and Jamar needs to follow up with 2 things, and this is important. This is what we need to be doing. So this lets us know where every property is. Now, at some point down the line, appointment scheduled, appointment completed, offer being prepared, offer sent, negotiation, offer accepted, purchase agreement sent. So this is buyer stuff. At this point, it's buyer stuff. And here, we've connected the property to a buyer who's in our buyer pipeline. We made a connection. So now the system has the ability to message buyers and sellers. That's not set up yet, and that may not be set up for a while. But when it's time, your job is, at a certain point, your job as well as Ryan and myself, is to keep the buyers and sellers and the agents and everyone connected and everyone organized. And have the transaction coordinator folded in all of those words I'm having trouble saying. And so this keeps us all organized. And the Lead Connector HQ is the phone app that you want for this. Now, I'm going to go over two other things today unrelated to all of this. I want to show you what we do when we're evaluating a property. So this first property is a little weird. It is 3 little houses on one lot. So you have one little house here and 2 more little houses here. And you're looking at them, and this is not designed to be the actual walkthrough of what their conditions are, but the roofs actually in real life look better. But okay, roofs are good, vinyl siding is good. You look around, the yard looks okay, it's well sloped. And this is how you're describing a property. You're looking at what's in the neighborhood, all this other kind of stuff. Now I'm showing this to you to contrast with another entirely other property. This is not, and this is a ready to move into house. It actually looks prettier in real life than it does right now. The flooring is in good shape. It's vinyl. Da, da, da. So this is what we're calling done for this type of property in this neighborhood. This is done. Now I show you that mostly to show you this. This was a waste of my freaking time. The agent who sent this to me, I'm going to have a conversation with her. I was shown these pictures. I knew this property had some rough stuff going on. Anyway, so when it finally gets around to figuring its little daylight self out, what I want to show is actually a little further down, I think, on this video. All right, so the siding on the front of that, this. So when you're looking at a property, this is what you're taking notes on. You're saying, oh, I've got nice vinyl siding out front, but fairly crappy porches and whatever. And then you come around here, oh, I've got this crappy stuff over here. You're taking pictures and you're looking at this. This is $5,000, maybe more, to fix this. I'm looking at my windows and you can barely see it in this shot, but my windows are, in some cases, replacement windows, but they all have plastic on them on the inside. So they're all leaking like shit. There's visible in that one up top, you can see some visible insulation above it. The roof is definitely not installed correctly. So you're going through and you're noting anything that doesn't look right. And things that do look right. You're noting everything. There's this weird thing here, which is like next to the house. It's next to the house, doesn't seem to attach to anything, but it's got hinges on the roof. What the living hell is that? I don't know. In the basement, we come in and we see a water heater. We see electric heat on the wall. I'm going to end up not picking it right. We have electric heat in the house on 100 amp service. You can see none of this looks right. Wires aren't supposed to dangle like this. That's a complete mess. And you have 100 amp service coming in because that is the top breaker on the breaker panel is 100. That's a 100 amp breaker. You just do a quick count and you say, okay, I've got 20 amps. This is a dual 20 for heat, 40, 50, 60, 20, 40, 60, 80, This is a 50 amp, so now I'm at 130. This is a 30 amp, so now I'm at 160 on 100 amps. And then more over here. So the house wants to draw nearly twice what the main breaker can handle. And the math on that is the house should only draw 80%. Everything should only draw 80% of what it's labeled for. It can handle 120%. So the 100 amp breaker can handle 120, but should only live at 80. You know, at any one time, only 80 amps should be happening here. Well, if you have your stove and your water heater on, you're already at 80. If you have any lights on, you're over. If you turn any of your heats on, and the problem is you end up where it might not pop, but it's going to heat up. So this needs a new electric service like yesterday. And then the house is a hoarder hellbill, honestly. And then compared to the pictures that the agent sent me, which are basically these, it's very cozy, which is a fancy realtor word for tiny. Okay, it's got a serviceable bathroom. That's what she showed me. And needs paint and flooring, but okay, these rooms are definitely dealable. So I'm looking so far at, I've got exterior, I've got windows, I've got yard, I've got siding, I've got electrical. And then I come upstairs and I got to start over. I got drywall, I got paint and flooring, but I got drywall, I got ceilings, I got doors, I got everything. So my repair numbers are going higher. You're not worrying about what the repair numbers are at this point. You're just worrying about making a list of what you see that doesn't look right, what you see that needs to be made to dip it in gold for the neighborhood. We will walk you through on everything else later on what they need to be, but you're just getting that information installed you're getting that information installed in over here. And you're making a note over here saying added more information over here, along with pictures and video added over here, or links added here and here. So you're putting in notes, but you're also keeping up, making sure this is complete of your actual questions. So when you learn more about the property, you're answering questions appropriate to it, or you're adding a note, any additional notes. Yeah. Look at video. It's a crap hole. We don't say that. It's a work project. See link or uploads, whatever. And then you're putting a note over here saying added more information there. Here are the highlights. Boom. So that makes sure whoever goes to the system next sees what we learned and knows what we know. Anyone coming here next knows what we know. And you might add a task, you might add uploads. The point is everything comes back to here. So I hope that helps make it simpler for everybody.